All right, everyone. Today I'll be showing you how to use Notion as a content management system with a little help from a library called React NotionX. A little bit about me before I begin. I'm a software developer at San Jose Global, where I work with .NET and React. And in my personal development, I like to use Astro and Next.js. In this talk, I'll show you what Notion is and how it works. I'll give you a brief overview of React NotionX and how to use it. And then I'll show you how I use both these tools to manage content for my personal website. So starting off, what is Notion? It's a block-based notes app that contains most of the markdown elements, plus some special elements like the database. Its structure can be broken down into three main components: blocks, pages, and databases. Blocks are pieces of content like text and media. Pages are the containers for your blocks, and they can also be nested within each other, creating a hierarchical structure. And then there's databases. These are collections of pages that can be sorted, filtered, or visualized based on properties that you define. These are the core of what makes Notion so powerful and what we'll be using for our content management system. So let's open up Notion to see what it's actually like. So here on the left, we have all of our pages, and clicking on these can pull up the pages on the right. Each page there's an optional cover art, page icon, and then a required title. And then here's a text block. You can select it, and then here are some page blocks. So clicking a page block will open up that page. And then you can also click anywhere to start typing and to create a new block, and then you can delete that block that simply. And then the database block type is kind of like a SQL table where each page is a row, and then each column is like a page property. And then you can click open, and that will, and then you can just see the page that is within that table. There are also different view types that you can visualize this data and these properties. So you can do a Kanban board or a list or a chart. And in our case, we're going to be using the gallery view because this will give you sort of a blog-like style. So here I have a cover art. Then I show the page title and page icon. And then I show an author property, a created on datetime property, and then some tags like a block list or a select list. So then click in these pages, and then you can see the content within them. So this is pretty much what our page will look like when we render it with React NotionX. So what is React NotionX? It is a library created by Travis Fisher to render Notion pages in React. You install it just like you would any other node module, and then you create the Notion API object, and you get the record map using the .getPage method with the page ID. And to get the page ID, you can share your page that has the database. Just click publish, copy the link, and then we can paste it in. And this unique identifier on the end of the string is the page ID, and that's what we'll be pasting into Notion.getPage. So the record map is it's like a JavaScript object that contains all of the content of a Notion page. And then we just pass it into the Notion renderer component, and that renders the entire page in HTML. So we'll take a look at what that will look like. So yeah, you can see it's nearly identical to that page in Notion. And we can actually update this in real time. So if I delete those blocks and then refresh, that text is now gone. So then here's this page's code. I just pull in the Notion API from Notion client, pass in the page ID from props. I just have it set somewhere, and then get the record map, and then pass that into the Notion renderer. And then that record map is, again, it's a JavaScript object. So it has a root page ID up here, and then it has a ton of properties that React NotionX takes in and then renders. So yeah, this can get pretty long, and it's actually kind of insane how much data they pack into this thing. So it's really nice having a library that will handle that for you. And then, so if you actually click these page element, or these cards are clickable, so then you can click them and then it will pull up a new page. You can see that the page ID is tacked on to the end as a route parameter. So then in the code, you can actually just pull this. I'm using Astro, so you can just pull it from the route, the astro.params, and then pass that into notion.getPage, get the record map, throw that into Notion render, and voila, you have this page. So that's kind of a quick overview of React Notion X and how that works. Yes, question?
Yeah, how does the security work on the Notion data? Do I have to make my data?
Oh, yeah. So this is all on Notion's cloud service. So they handle all of the security. So they have, it's all stored on like their servers. That answers your question?
Like an API key. Right?
Oh, an API key.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's
you can do private. I'm currently doing public for this, where this is just accessible from that URL that I copied earlier. But yeah, you can do an integration where you have an API key if you want to keep that page private. So now I'll show you how I use both of these tools for my personal website. So here's a quick overview. I have like some text blocks, a table block, and then I have a database here for featured experiences, and then I have a few more down here. So I'll show you what this looks like in Notion itself.
Can you get this on like the free tier of Notion?
Yeah, I'm on free tier. I've had it for several years and I've never ran into any limits. So yeah, you can see it's almost like a one-for-one. There's a little bit of style differences that I've set up in a style sheet, because everything is pretty, let's see here. Let's make this bigger. You can see all these classes just have like Notion-viewport, Notion-frame, Notion-header. It's very simple class names, so you can easily like recreate a style sheet and make your own styles. So that's kind of what I have set up here. But as far as like the databases go, this is what I want to highlight. I have like one page with all of my posts, or one database with all of my posts. I usually have 27 there. And then I have several like properties. Kind of difficult to tell with that sticky header. I'm not sure how to disable that. But, and then I have a gallery view with a filter where I have just two booleans that are saying like if public is checked and if feature is checked, then it will show just these pages. And if I actually click on like one of these, you can see all these properties I have set. And then I have the public and featured checkboxes. So I can actually disable one of these just to show you that it'll disappear now. I do have incremental static regeneration set on this site, so it doesn't hit on the first refresh, but it hits on the second refresh. So yeah, it updates pretty quickly. Sometimes it doesn't go right away. It takes a little bit to regenerate, but there it is. So yeah, I just had that for each of these databases. See, this one is like a linked database, where clicking it will take you back to that database I was just showing you. But it allows you to create different views with different rules. So this one uses a word to checkbox instead of the featured checkbox. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this talk.